Hey everybody, it's middle of February 2013 and time for another layout update. So last month you saw I was working on those rocker switches to electrically isolate my diesel shop yard tracks. I got that done. They're all finished, wired, hooked up, and they all work. So the only thing that didn't really work well on them is the LEDs. Like, some of them work and some of them don't, and my brother, who's an electrician now, tells me that this track power is probably no good to use for those LEDs. They should have been on a separate power supply. So I may have burned a few of those out, but lesson learned, right? So I'll show you how they work here. Right now they're all in the off position. So I go ahead and flip one. Track 3. And there it goes, track 3. It's powered up and ready to go, and the other ones are all dead still. Some other stuff I got done was I made a little foundation out of the same wood I used for the road, and the staircase I just painted it gray. It came with the Pike Stuff Shops kit. I had 2 of those extra, so I just made it work there. Built a little foundation, put some ballast around it. It's done. You can see I got all the first 3 yard tracks there ballasted, and as well I was kind of kicking myself, but I wanted somewhere for like the trucks to drive across or whatever. So I used drywall mud and I made it look like cement kind of in front of the when the engines first come out. And then I just dry brushed some oil and stuff on there, and I did some dry brushing inside the shops as well. Let's see if we can get this out of the way. So that it looks like, you know, typical diesel shop with oil all over the place. I also dry brushed some more on in the middle of the tracks back there too, to kind of look like heavily used tracks. I'm going to do the same thing out here in the front. I haven't done it yet. Some other painting I did was the ponds. I just gave them kind of a brown on the outer parts and then a dark kind of color in the where the lower spots are, and then that's where I'm going to put the water, Woodland Scenics water, kind of make a swamp, marshy type thing there. The last thing I got recently for the layout was this BMLA dual head block signal. It's left hand. It's going to go right there on the right. You can see the foundation that I've cut out for it. So it looks like that. It's got 3 lights in each, and it will face that way. It'll sit right there on top of that foundation. I kind of left room for a signal right there. I made the terrain come out a bit with a signal being there in mind with the switches, but hindsight, it's not going to be prototypical at all, because it's going to face towards where I usually sit when I run trains in there, just so I can see it. So it's not going to be prototypical, but I'll be able to see it, and I'm going to put a switch panel kind of where the yard track isolation switches are, and that's where you can manually operate the signal heads. So that's something I'm going to start working on here. I'll have to pull a layout out to do it, so I'm waiting until I get enough work to justify pulling this thing away from the wall. So that's everything new down here on the layout. Let's go upstairs and have a look at what's sitting on my desk. So we're up here in my office. Of course, I got my YouTube going, just checking out some CP ride-along vids. And on my desk, if you watched last month, I was working on this SD70F, so this one is done and ready for paint now. So you can see there, I got the handrails all bent, and she's ready for paint. So that one's waiting to get painted, so I'm trying to finish this one now too. It's the second one. Here's where I'm at with it. Just starting to put the lifting rings on the top of it. It's coming, it's slow going, but next step after I get all the lifting rings and stuff put on it is start to mount it to its frame. And that is a Norfolk Southern SD50 frame that I'm gonna have to grind a lot on to get it to work, but it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, I got the other one to work, so that's where I'm at with those. Something else I got was one of these Walther's oil pumps. I've been building it and just stretching the wires on it right now, but it's going to be motorized. I got a motorizing kit for it, and that's going to go in the corner of my layout. Eventually it'll be like a canola field with a pump jack and a little oil tank. So that's where I'm at with my projects. Up on my desk, I'll show you some of my new locomotives and rolling stock that I picked up. So if you watched the January layout update, I was talking about a undecorated C44-9W that I was gonna give the Caslo wide cab treatment to make it a C44-9WL. So I found another KATO C44-9W, this one in CN paint. And like I said, I was going to do two of them, right? So this one will actually be easier because I don't have to paint the back end of it. I don't have to paint the cab. So this will be easier than the other one, but the other one will be fun too because I get to paint it. So this one, just like the other one, is going to get the Caslo wide cab. It'll end up looking something like that. And I think it'll be a pretty fun project. So that was one of the locomotives I picked up recently. So the next locomotive I picked up is this KATO SD38-2 in J-ball paint. This is kind of going to be a future project that's probably going to take place down the road, but I got the idea from a photo. As you know, CN owns these now, and they've been repainting them into CN colors. So I want to do the 666 Devil unit that looks like this one in the picture here. I think it'll be a fun project. And then the next two locomotives I got in the last couple months, two of the identical numbers SD70Is, these older Genesis ones. One was just by chance actually. The far one here, this one's in good shape. I got a decoder on order for it, and it's gonna have DCC Tsunami sound with the EMD 710. And this one here just kind of came across by chance. A friend of mine was thinning out some of his CN stuff. He's gonna just focus more on CP, so he gave me this for 40 bucks, and it's in rough shape. It's missing the lights and the couplers and everything. It's kind of seen some abuse, but it does run. I tested it on my DC track. It does run, so hopefully I'll be able to renumber it and kind of nurse it back to health. Put some new lights in it, and you can see the ditch lights are like mangled on it and stuff. So that was kind of cool just to come across that randomly, and I mean, for the price you can't beat it. So I'll try to fix that one up and renumber it, and then I'll have two SD70Is for my layout. Same friend of mine who was thinning out his CN stuff, he had this IC no number Genesis model, SD70. This is a great model. It's going to be a perfect fit for my layout because, like, prototypically I see these out in Alberta every once in a while. They run on the CN main line, so this one just needs a number and a decoder, and I've got one on order for it, and it's going to get renumbered to 1008, and it's going to have the Soundtrack's EMD 710 decoder. And the last locomotive I picked up, I broke down and got one of these Athearn Genesis new run SD70M-2s. It's a beautiful model. I wasn't planning on getting one, but one came up on eBay and it was a super good deal, so I just went for it. It's just DC, no sound, so I'll be putting a decoder in myself and a speaker. So that's everything I've been working on over the last month. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.